In this video, I'm going to show you how using corrugated plastic is a great alternative to buying a bunch of crash racers flat tracks. Let's get rolling. 3D bot maker is essentially the father of 1/64 scale diecast racing. Many of his early open tracks were created with Coroplast, which is a corrugated plastic. While there was some really fantastic racing on these tracks, cars often would spin out and lose traction. Later, 3D bot maker switched from Coroplast to Adventure Force Crash Racers track. I feel like there's a great opportunity to use corrugated plastic at the same track width as the Crash Racers set, so I designed an adapter that converts from corrugated plastic directly to Crash Racers. To make a corrugated plastic track, first I use something called the Coroplast. Coroplast allows you to cut just one side of the corrugated plastic or to be able to make a cut all the way through. So to start out, I make a wall and just cut one side and fold that over, and then I count over 13 empty holes. And I do that twice because I've messed up enough times that I don't like to mess up again anymore. Measure twice, cut once, and then you cut the other wall. Now you don't have to use a Coroplast, you could use an X-Acto knife with a straight edge or something like that. But if you're doing a lot of these, I find the Coroplast to be worth the price. Then the adapter just slides in and holds the walls in place. Makes a really clean connection right there. Once you have that connected, you can connect the Crash Racers to the other side of the adapter. One thing that you have to realize about Crash Racers is that there's two different types. This matte type of the Crash Racers track isn't exactly flat. And so you do get a little bit of a bump on the edges. That's not something that's easily fixed, and that's kind of a flaw in the design of the Crash Racers track. Here, you can see there's a shiny Crash Racers track and a matte, and you never really know. I haven't figured out how to tell which one you're gonna get. But the shiny one fits actually really quite a bit better and quite a bit more flat. So in this test, I'm showing Crash Racers to corrugated plastic back to Crash Racers. Going into the corrugated plastic isn't an issue because the bumps are going downhill. Coming out of it, if the cars are on the side of the track, you'll see them hit a little bump. Maybe there's something that can be done to fix that, either like some super glue or a screw or something like that. But there's really not a design solution to that because of how that track fits. Here's another angle where I'm showing the matte track, and you can see as the cars go down the middle, there's not much of a problem, and if they hit the edge, then there is a little bit of a bump. If any of you have suggestions on solutions on how to fix this or mitigate this, I'd love to hear it. Now I've shifted to the shiny Crash Racers track. Now you can see that there's very little issues with the cars going through. So if you have the matte track going into the corrugated plastic, that's not an issue. And if you do have any shiny Crash Racers track, use that for the transition out of the corrugated plastic. All right, let's get to some race tests. One thing that I generally saw through these race tests is that the problems on this little temp track that I put in were not because of the corrugated plastic. I felt like the cars did an excellent job of navigating through the corrugated plastic. I definitely could have used some more elevation through this track. I think if you're going to have two turns, you kind of almost need a foot drop between each turn in order to have the cars have enough speed going through. But the great thing about all of this is that by buying just one Crash Racer set now and using corrugated plastic, you can make a huge track. You can really do a lot with it instead of having to buy several different Crash Racer sets and just not using the turns. This shows a great opportunity to be able to get into diecast racing at a more economical price point. I really look forward to building a bigger track or having longer sections of corrugated plastic to be able to test and race on. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it. If you're interested in buying these adapters, you can email me at sales@spoolheads.com. And thank you everyone for your support through all of this. Race on, friends.